Look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love. Look at the person next to you. Take a look. Say, God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite. In honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, Namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Rosa. I'm Russ Laguerre. I'm your assistant minister, and I am delighted to be here with you today. And can we give some more love to our fabulous band? And I have to say, y'all have some good moves out there. Now, whether you're in the room with us or you're watching online, please know that you are very welcome here. I invite you now to join me in reading out loud our mission. There we go. The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring the gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. And this month, we are exploring the divine feminine through the lens of pagan spiritual traditions. Magic is often at the center of these traditions. As simple as lighting a candle or as complex as a ritual dance under the stars, many magical pagan practices are designed to connect to something greater. Something intangible, yet also visible in the bountiful life that surrounds us. In some pagan traditions, magic is a way of opening our hearts and our minds so that we can become receptive to the creative forces of the universe. We can discover the magic within ourselves through our 5 core spiritual practices, and would you please read those with me? spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, spiritual circulation. One thing that I really appreciate about this community is that I know that I never have to practice alone. There are many gifts that come when I can be in spiritual practice with my friends. And this is what you can do in our Circles for Spiritual Connection. These are small groups that meet weekly to connect through spiritual practice, and the next round begins very soon. So after the service today, head on over to the website or to the info desk, and you can find out how you might join and practice with some new friends. I'd now like to extend a very warm welcome to our first-time visitors. If it is your first time in our center, would you please stand as you're able or raise your hand? We'd love to bring you a flower and a welcome packet as a token of gratitude for joining us today. And if you're watching online for the first time, please let us know in the chat. We're so grateful that you're here with us. I know that somewhere between the music, the meditation, the prayer, the practices, and Reverend Tara's message, you will find exactly what you need for the next step of your spiritual journey. Please know you are very welcome here. Now, I invite you to enjoy some music before our short time of silent contemplation and prayer.
Do you believe it when you see it? Could you take my word for it now? Leaving breadcrumbs for you to follow. I know you'll find your way to me somehow. I love you more than the sea loves the shore. I don't know when, but you're gonna love me again. Lonely pilgrim, searching for the answer, trying to find your way out of the storm. I will always leave the light on until you make it home. There is one creative force, one infinite love, one goodness, one divine infinite intelligence. This Mother, Father, God that is beyond gender or roles, this yes, this beloved, has no beginning or end. It just loves to recreate itself endlessly. And so I must be made of this. I must be the yes of the world. I must be one small part of the infinite love. And as this is true of me, it is true of each one listening in this room and beyond. Each one the beloved, each one the love, each one the intelligence. And so I speak my word for this service, and I claim the remembering of who we really are, the reclaiming of our infinity, our intelligence, our love, this goodness that runs through all things, and that anything that seems other than this is an illusion of separation. And somewhere in the music, in the message, in the breath, in the silence, in the connections, we get to remember who we really are. And so I give thanks for this. I celebrate it. And I turn it over to the word that always says yes, to the law that says, you got it. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning. I'm Venus Maher, practitioner emeritus here at the center, and I ask you to read the affirmation with me. I honor the sacred cycles and dance with the turning of the wheel.
So much, honestly, that this service is kind of throwing me off because I'm trying to not cry. It's so beautiful. There we go. Thank you. Well, I know what heaven is, so don't try to sell me lies. It's where every good intention grows enough to touch the sky.
I know what heaven is. It's looking in your eyes to dream of all that's possible and to let it die.
Well, I know what heaven is. It's to know you're not alone. Face the vast and vicious beauty with the hand to guide you home. And I know just how to get there. One day at a time. And I can tell you it's worth it. The joy and pain that makes this wine. We toast to love. at the bottom of the ocean.
In that dark and sunless world,
And I know just
how to get there, and in one day at a time.
and I can tell you
I can tell you it's worth it,
the
joy and pain that makes it wise.
toast to love.
To
And I know
I just how to get there. One day at a time.
and I can tell you
I can tell you it's worth it.
the
Joy and pain that makes it wise.
we toast to love, love, love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karen. By the way, you may find that everything is welcome here, including tears. In fact, I might just cry by the end of my talk, so no worries. Good morning. I'm Tara Steele, a minister here at the center, and the topic this morning is magic. Not the magic where you wave a magic wand and a rabbit pops out of a hat, but those everyday experiences of wonder and mystery, the unexpected blessings. That's the magic I want to talk about. I'm going to begin with a couple of personal examples, one of which you are possibly familiar with, and then a second. 10 years ago, I was hiking up in the High Sierras on the John Muir Trail. It's a 160-mile long hike. I began in Tuolumne Meadows because I decided there was no point in climbing up from the valley. I could do other things with my time. And 4 or 5 days into the backpack, I suddenly started kind of weaving on the trail as if I were a drunken sailor. I managed to get off the trail, and eventually I realized I was having a mild stroke. Thankfully, my daughter had absolutely demanded that I have a GPS device on me so that if, heaven forbid, something happened, I could actually reach out for help. So I contacted her, and very few minutes after I texted her, I'm having a milk stroke is actually what I wrote, but mild stroke. Some more hikers came down the trail. And imagine that 2 of them were training to be wilderness EMTs. And before dark, I was airlifted off the mountain. The way that all of those things came together for me is magic. There may be something in all of the planning and everything else, but it was essentially what I said to Spirit once I realized I was having a stroke. Spirit, I don't know what the blank, I'm a minister after all, you're up to, but I trust that you've got it. I trust that you've got it. That's magical, and that's an affirmation of what is. The second example is much more recent. Toward the end of last month, I attended the 16th celebration of the placing of the icon of Shakamambari in an adobe dome in Petaluma. I went and sat in the dome as part of my celebrating the anniversary. After a few minutes of silence, I realized I was weeping, softly, not sobbing. And I wondered what was going on. What I realized was that I had recognized in Shakambhari a feminine form in which there was the power of Durga, who can be rather righteously destructive, as well as the nurturing and presence and regrowth of Parvati, another of the Hindu goddesses. And in Shakambhari, they came together. They weren't in conflict with each other. In my 20s, I read the book by John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. I don't know how many of you recognize it. In my 20s, I didn't know what I know now. I didn't know a lot of things, but also how to respond to that book. I didn't recognize then, though I now see, that it was a very monochromatic presentation of stereotypes about male and female. However, in my 20s, as I was coming into adulthood, I resonated more with the male, get her done energy, rather than the patient, caring female energy. And I felt that meant something was wrong with me, that I should not be this impatient caregiver that I sometimes found I was, and that I should dim down my power, my presence, my righteous, that just isn't right, because that's not feminine. Thankfully, even those of you who have never seen Shakambhari now recognize that that's not so. That each woman, actually all persons, can radiate and be who they are. We don't need to live in someone else's images and expectations. There are many gifts of feminism, not all of which I take to heart, but the recognition of the power and presence of women, that one is important. So there are those two examples. One, all kinds of events coming together on the mountain to get me off the mountain into an ER to deal with my stroke, and the unexpected insight of something that had been in conflict within me that loosened, even though I'd basically forgotten all about that silly book. Neither of those was expected. Each of them was a wondrous, magical blessing. We don't make these wonder-filled events happen. They show up with synchronicity, serendipity, spontaneity, but it's not something we're forcing to happen. What we can do is notice and pay attention. I've identified 4 elements that I believe contribute to our inviting, welcoming, more blessing, more magic into our life. But before I get to those, there's a subtitle or an extension to this being about magic. It's about magic and conscious creation. Where this talk ended up was because of that second piece. Conscious creation is what we do in Science of Mind through an affirmative prayer, a spiritual mind treatment. And it relies upon a couple of fundamental beliefs that I share with my students in every class I teach. though my intention in those classes is to invite them to discover more about who they are and what matters to them, what they believe, I alert them to these two beliefs, without which it could be kind of tough to understand some of what we teach. The first is that there is something more than this isolated individual person that we are. There is something transcendent. We can call it spirit, beloved companion, Mother Earth, love, all of that and more. But that something is there. We aren't little bits of life that wander around on our own and then at some point disappear. There's an allness, a oneness in which we abide and which abides within us and expresses. That's an essential part of the mystery, of the awe and wonder. And then there's a second piece, which at first I thought was rather jargony. Change your thinking, change your life. And we still say that some, but it's deepened in what we mean by that. I explain it with a very old example from my life. Back when I was pregnant with my daughter, as I was walking about town, I would see so many pregnant women, it was stunning. Before and after my daughter was born, they seemed to have disappeared. They actually hadn't disappeared. It was because I was no longer paying attention to being pregnant. I had other things on my mind, like a baby's sleeping schedule, for example. And so because it wasn't present in my attention, I didn't notice when a woman happened to be pregnant, unless she bumped into me, then I probably would have noticed. That's how our thinking and our assumptions affect our experience of life, because those thoughts and assumptions impact not only what we see, but what we're able to see. I'll bet that each of you has a friend who always sees the good in things. Sometimes that's really hard to live with, but that friend sees more good than you do because that's their assumption about life. And conversely, I'm sure you have a friend or two who always see the challenge and the difficulty. And so they see more of that because that's what they expect. It isn't that life changed. The facts, in quotes, are still the facts. But what we see has changed. So keep those two beliefs in mind as I talk about bringing more wonder and magic. The first, that we're not isolated individuals, that we are in a web of life, of divinity, of allness, and that what we think and believe matters because it affects our experience of life. Okay, got those two in mind? So here are the four things that I think are a part of bringing wonder, magic, awe more alive in our lives. They are connection, intention, ritual, and openness. Connection, intention, ritual, and openness. And I want to begin with how those show up in spiritual mind treatment and in bringing awe, wonder, and magic into life. But before that, I want to share a quote with you from one of my favorite books of Ernest Holmes, our founder, This Thing Called You. Learn to be at home in the universe. No more loneliness, no more sense of isolation. See God in everyone. The same God with a different face, the same animating principle in a different form, the same divine presence clothed in individual expression. There is a fountain of life from which, if someone drinks, they shall never thirst again. Learn to be at home in the universe, in the allness, in the mystery. Science of Mind often uses the metaphor as we talk about affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment of the seed, the soil, and the plant. I expect those of you who've been around for a while have heard that before. The seed is the intention, the sense of what we want to shift, what we want to create. The soil is the black box where spirit does that magical, mysterious, creative collaboration with our intention to bring forth something different, the plant, the manifestation of the prayer or the knowing. That's an incredibly short description of the creative process, and any of you who are going, huh? Are welcome to catch me in the social hall after the talk. And as I used to think about that stepwise prayer was very definite, very clear. It's a defined practice that shows up as answered prayer, but wasn't necessarily magical. So, as we open, we begin with connection. And I've already shared that I believe that knowing we're something more than this form is important. My father was an active, arrogant atheist. That was an unexpected, unscripted word, but there it is. Along with Karl Marx, he believed that religion, or God, was the opiate of the people. Yet when he was out in nature, something shifted. He was softer, gentler, more present to what is, rather than caught up in his judgments and his anger. That's the awareness that I'm pointing to. Conscious creation in Science of Mind begins with recognizing the qualities of the divine around and within us, and then knowing from that what we know. Perhaps you notice it as you smile about something or are thankful, walk in nature, speak in prayer. However you embody the awareness that you are more than isolated individual trying to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Day to day, as you go about your ordinary life, tap into that awareness. It's there, just waiting for you to notice it. Here's how Alan Watts puts it in describing the Zen Buddhist practice. Zen is really extraordinarily simple, as long as one doesn't try to be cute about it or beat around the bush. Zen is simply the sensation and the clear understanding that there is behind the multiplicity of events and creatures in this universe simply one energy. And it appears as you, and everything is it. The practice of Zen is to understand that one energy so as to feel it in your bones. All of us are connected. The next step is to become aware of a desired feeling or a direction in prayer and in welcoming the mystery. It's what we may call intention or a realization. In prayer, we usually get pretty specific about what it is we want to experience, to have, and most often how we want to feel. There's a bit of a quirkiness when we think about inviting wonder and magic into our lives. For me, a lot of it is the surprise that it's not expected. It shows up out of the blue. And that makes intending it perhaps a little tricky. I don't say to myself, all right, this afternoon at 3 o'clock, I'm going to experience the wonder of life. I can do that, and I can invite that in prayer, and something may occur. But it's not going to be a surprise because I've decided that it's happening at 3 o'clock, and it's going to look a certain way. And that expectedness may take the mystery out of things. So in invoking or creating a welcome mat for magic, we're more likely to say something like, I am present in life. I notice and appreciate what life is. And then pay attention. We've connected. We've set an intention. Now what? Mirabai Starr, in a program last night, called out the importance of ritual. Ritual as one of the ways that community connects itself. Ritual is also, in this talk, a way to embody and make real in our being, in our knowing, what it is that we intend. I imagine that many of you, when you sit down in prayer or meditation, have a little bit of something that you do ahead of time. You light a candle, you have flowers, you have an image, some music, an awareness that invites you into the sacred unfolding, whatever that is. That's the power of ritual. It makes real something that you are intending, you are knowing within, that is to appear in the world. It's kind of a symbol, like this red dress. This was something I wore on a vision quest years ago. And I also wore it when I visited with Shakambari last month. And it's a representation of both the feminine dress, which I rarely wear, and the presence and the power. Both things. And sometimes I need a little bit of that reminding. So connection, intention, ritual, and now the final and in some ways most important piece. Paying attention, being open. Being open. In that Adobe Dome in Petaluma, I kept going, oh, that's interesting, I'm crying. I guess I'm really tired. Well, I'll get this done and go back into the general celebration. Instead, I went, how strange. Why am I crying? And that pausing and noticing and being curious led to my awareness around the integration in Shakambari of power and grace. Something that for decades was not sitting well within me because I knew I had one and I wasn't great at the other, and oh my gosh, what do I do? So when you notice something that seems a bit odd or strange, don't just blow it off. Be curious, wonder about it. See what gift it has for you. One way to expand your awareness of possibility is to play with your imagination. This is a coffee cup, right? Okay. Folks online, you can do this by putting comments in the chat on the side. You all are going to provide some answers. What else might this be? Who has an idea?
It could be a flower pot.
A flower pot?
Pencil holder.
Whoa. A pencil holder? What is that?
Sandcastle.
A sandcastle. And one more. A circle maker. So this ordinary coffee cup is suddenly all kinds of different things. That's where you go when you're in an exploration of the allness of life, or even just the day-to-day ho-hum of life. What's possible in this moment? What do I see? What's present? In fact, I have a homework assignment for you. When you go home today, in your house, notice something you haven't seen before, and not the Amazon package that just showed up on your doorstep. Something within your home environment that you didn't notice before. Okay? And if you know your home really, really well, and you've seen everything, see something in your home differently. See something new or differently. Pay attention and be open. So, skipping ahead as I usually do, I want to say a bit about this quality of being open and noticing. It's not something you do with energy and force, and I've got to do this right. That's not how you'd approach a butterfly sitting on a flower. If you wanted to approach it and see it more clearly, you'd be soft and gentle and quiet. You wouldn't charge up and say, oh, the butterfly would be long gone. So this noticing is also that same gentle, quiet presence. It's not a task. It's a way of being present. And for those of you like me who often judge the quality of what you do, how much you happen to experience magic, wonder, and awe is not an indication of how spiritual or wise you are. And paying attention, being open, having clear intention does make a difference. You don't make life happen. You are present. Notice and celebrate it. So begin with intention, with connection, an awareness of the allness in which you abide as Spirit expresses as you. Recognize the importance of a sense of direction, an intention that's open and trusting in the outcome. Then ground that intention, embody it with a ritual, a symbol like this red dress that makes your intention and your direction more alive in you. Finally, be open. Notice and appreciate how life, with its mystery, its wonder, awe, surprises, blessings, and challenges, is simply being life. Let that appreciation of life be alive in you. Let it be alive in you. In love, as they so beautifully sang, in presence, in welcome to what is. That's, for me, the essence of it. So now a little sidestep. Some of you know that I have a workshop this afternoon. I've entitled it The Magic of the To-Do List because it takes something very mundane, oh my God, what have I got to do today? Okay, I better make a list, and transforms it into a way of being present to life, having it flow more easily, and maybe even doing more of what you want to get done. It's at 1 o'clock in Wagner Hall in person, and you can sign up at the registration desk. I'd appreciate it if you do, because there are handouts, but I'm certain that Spirit will make sure that it's handled however many handouts we need. Now, there's something very tender that I realized last night as I was finishing this talk, and I want to share that with you. Those of you who are familiar with affirmative prayer may already realize what I'm about to say. Years ago, in practitioner studies, I came to understand that our form of prayer was pretty mechanical and straightforward. There wasn't any mystery, except perhaps for a moment in the first and second steps, where I recognize Spirit and my being a part of that in the second step. As I was finishing the talk, Einstein's statement on how to live came to mind. Here's what he said. There are only two ways to live your life. I may tear up, actually. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. For me, now, there is magic, awe, and wonder, miracles, in all of life. Not just the unexpected, but the expected, including even spiritual mind treatment. So with that, please join me in prayer, enfolded in awe and wonder. Breathing into that infinite web of aliveness, of mystery, of magic. That which is the substance, the essence, the allness of life. That one. Recognizing that one, I also know in my essence that it is alive within me, expressing uniquely as me with my gifts, my qualities, my being. In that aliveness and wonder, I know the amazing unfolding of the lives of each and all. That there are gifts to be noticed, insights to be recognized, awesomeness to be grateful for. This is our mysterious presence in this form, in this moment. I celebrate it and the way that capital L life unfolds. It is present, alive, awaiting our attention and noticing and celebrating when we do. For it and I are one. There is no separation. celebrating how life works. I simply am grateful and release it into law, into love, into life. And together we say, and so it is. Thank you, dear ones.
Thank you, Reverend Tara. I invite us all to take a nice deep breath, breathing in, let out a big sigh. We use our breath to help us to make our transition to our opportunity to support this community financially. And if you choose to give today, there's a few ways you can. You can give online on our website, cslsr.org/donate. We also have text to give that I use because it's very fast and convenient. And we will pass the baskets today. So I invite our ushers to stand, and I invite you to hold your gift close to your heart as a symbol of your connection to this community and repeat after me. I bless my gift. I send it forth to heal and prosper. It does wonderful work in the world. And so it is. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Together in the diamond glow, rise in darkness, waiting for the words to come. Speaking story, shaping letters that we love. The sentence spell out smart, so Ryan's bow. Resistance, doorway to a richer room of existence. Belonging, no longer rolling Sisyphus stone. We're already home. More sisters are searching, don't even know that they're missing. Look up, we're already here. Regrets the map and questions, all you need to steer. Believe your inner fire. Together we'll create a whole galaxy of stars. No hungry hunter, arrows sharpened for the kill. Makes a match for wonder, curiosity, and craft. They always will release the exceptional. Reveal the celestial. Look up, we're already here. Regrets the map and questions, all you need to steer. Believe your inner fire. Together we'll create a whole galaxy of stars. Look up, we're already here. Regrets the map and questions, all you need to steer. Believe your inner fire. Together we'll create a whole galaxy of stars. Resistance, the doorway. Belonging,
Thank you.
Thank you for all the gifts that you share. Karen and Katie, thank you for the gifts that you shared with us today. That was wonderful. All right, so you heard from Reverend Tara about her workshop today. As she mentioned, that's at 1 p.m. over in Wagoner Hall. And you can register at the door, but please do come early so that Reverend Tara can start on time. Okay. Now, sometimes I have to admit, I need a little bit of help staying present. You know, busyness and challenges, the news, and so much more. It can make it so easy for me to dwell on past mistakes or future worries. And that's why I'm grateful that Reverend Tara has a course coming up called Living in Presence. Because in it, we're going to discover how we can become present to all that life is, bringing spirit into every moment, even in the most mundane tasks. And that is when the magic happens. So that class is available both in person on Thursdays and on Zoom on Saturdays beginning in September. Now, the parents in our audience know this. Parenting does not come with an instruction manual, does it? No. You get to write your own. Well, in her upcoming class, Conscious Parenting, prayer practitioner Jennifer Caldwell, she is going to explore with you just how you can write your own parenting manual with your children that's rooted in consciousness and spirit and the science of mind so that they can guide you through any challenges that arise. And that's coming up soon. Now, there's a question that our prayer practitioners will often ask before praying with you. I love this question. What do you want to experience? And it's a simple question that gets right at the heart of what it is that you desire. And prayer practitioner Maggie Cole, she wants to help you find your own answer to this question in her September class, What Do You Want to Experience? And in it, she'll guide you toward that spirit within and the power that it has to inspire you to a life that is filled with joy and with purpose. Now, you may not know this, but my first days playing the guitar were all self-taught. And I have to admit, I was not very good. So when I did take some lessons with a skilled teacher, I learned the fundamentals that I had skipped over. And it's those fundamentals that built a strong foundation for my playing that it's still with me today. And like every foundation, from time to time, I review it and I maintain it so that I know that it remains strong. Well, I've applied the same principle to my science of mind practice, and you can too, in our all-new Foundations of Science of Mind class that begins this September with prayer practitioner Peggy Weber. Now, whether you're new to our teaching or you want to keep your foundation strong, you'll learn about the nature of your mind, the creative power that governs life, the meaning of unity, and the fundamentals of science of mind. And most importantly, you'll learn how to apply them to the challenges in your life. So you can sign up for all of these classes and workshops on our website. And by the way, we offer scholarships for Foundations of Science of Mind. And if you're interested in that, come see me after service or send an email to education@cslsr.org. We have a new meditation group, and it is happening on Sundays, and it's been going strong. And there is a time change that we want to make sure you know about, because this time change is going to make that meditation a little bit more convenient. Starting this coming Sunday, they're going to begin meditating at 10:10 a.m. until 10:50 a.m. And that way, you can come for the meditation and then go right into our 11 a.m. service. So no need to sign up for that meditation. Just simply drop by the meditation room on the second floor next Sunday at 10:10 a.m. Now, last year, we told you about our roof repair project. And those of you in person know what I'm talking about because you might have had to do a little casual wading through the sanctuary from the leaks during the rainy season. Well, we started a capital campaign that was appropriately called Covering Our Future. And over the last 12 months, our roof repair team, led by our facility manager, Bob Stender, researched the options to ensure that our roof repair would last us for at least 30 years, while also fitting into our budget. Your contributions toward our roof went a long way toward getting us where we thought that we needed to be. But as we researched further, we learned that given the age of our roof, repairs alone would not be enough to fulfill our goal. And that's when we decided to look to our future and replace the whole roof. The amount of contributions that we had collected at that point was substantial, and it covered 50% of that full roof replacement. And we tapped into our prudent reserve so that we could start the work this month and be ready for the upcoming rainy season, which I'm sure you've heard. We've got an El Nino year that is looking like it is going to be particularly sloppy. So this means that we're asking you to help fill in the gap in funding by contributing toward our roof. And there's a link on our website to designate a donation toward our roof. And you can also write the word roof on your giving envelope the next time that the basket is passed. Or if you give online, there's a place you can write it there in the comments as well. And that will help us to refill our prudent reserve while also covering our future. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your generosity. I'm so touched by those who have already responded since we gave this announcement last week, and we started receiving donations again, and I really thank you all for that. I am so glad that you are all part of this community. And I invite you to join me this Wednesday for our Wednesday evening service at 7 p.m. because we're going to explore together the magic of tidying up our homes as a spiritual practice. All right. It is time to bring our service to a close, but before we do, if you are having a challenging time, if you would like spiritual support, or if you just like to affirm something really wonderful in your life, I invite you to take advantage of our after-service prayer offerings. If you're here in person in the sanctuary, head on back to the white table there. Vivian will direct you to one of our prayer practitioners who will pray about whatever it is that you desire. If you're watching online, there's a link you can follow to a free confidential Zoom prayer with one of our licensed prayer practitioners. Also, if you are experiencing grief or going through the grieving process, today at this time right after service, we have available to you our grief and loss support group that's on the second floor right next to the Ernest Holmes Lending Library. So just head on up there and they will take good care of you. All right, I invite you all to stand as you're able and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Know with me that you are never alone. That spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a presence that expresses itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's close in song.
I am a prayer for peace. Wherever I go, peace goes with me. I feel peace inside. In every breath, peace abides. And I know the joy of peace the pieces